Welcome to the Daily Drop on Pro Ball Daily. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tara, and we are absolutely buzzing today, Mike, because after a wild night of buckets, blasts, and absolute beatdowns across the sporting landscape, we've got some serious ground to cover.
Buzzing is an understatement, Tara. I'm still trying to process some of these scores. We saw 257 points in an NBA game, 22 runs in an MLB slugfest, and a ridiculous 11 goals in an NHL showdown. But before we dive into all that, let's talk about the team everyone in the Big Apple is suddenly whispering about.
Oh, you know exactly where I'm going with this, don't you? The New York Knicks, sitting pretty at number 3 in our NBA Power Index with 69.2 points. They didn't just win last night, Mike. They beat the Golden State Warriors 110-107 in a grinder. That's a statement win against a perennial powerhouse.
It absolutely is a statement, Tara, but I have to pump the brakes just a little. Are they really a top 3 team? Our Power Index has them there, right behind the Spurs and the Thunder. San Antonio's at 75 points, OKC at 73.5. Those teams feel fundamentally solid. The Knicks have been hot, sure, but are they consistently a contender for the top of the league, or is this just a really good run that's boosting their stats?
I think it's more than a run, Mike. Look at the grit. They held the Warriors, who can light it up from anywhere, to 107 points. That's a team that's found its identity defensively, and they're executing offensively when it matters. They're physical, they're hungry, and they're building something. I'm not saying they're winning the championship tomorrow, but they're absolutely in that conversation for deep playoff potential.
Deep playoff run, I can buy. Top 3 team in the league, I need to see more consistency against the league's absolute elite. Speaking of elite, the Thunder, sitting at second, took down the Timberwolves 116-103. That's what you expect from a top team, right? A comfortable win against a decent opponent. And the Spurs, our number 1, didn't play, so they just get to bask in their glory.
They do. But let's talk about the absolute fireworks display in Milwaukee. The Bucks beat the Pacers 134-123, a combined 257 points. That's not just a shootout, that's a nuclear meltdown of defense. I mean, do you love it or hate it? As a fan, it's entertaining, but as a coach, you're probably pulling your hair out.
I'm a fan first, Tara, so I loved every second of it. Give me offense, give me dunks, give me long-range bombs. But you're right. If you're coaching either of those teams, you're looking at the tape today and wondering where the hell the defense went. It's exciting, but it's not championship basketball for either team. Both the Bucks and Pacers have aspirations, and you can't win it all giving up that many points.
No, you can't. And on the flip side of that, we saw Dallas put up 130 on Cleveland, winning 130-120. So another high-scoring affair. Are we seeing a trend, Mike, of offense just completely dominating the NBA right now?
It feels that way. Teams are just so skilled offensively, the spacing is incredible, and the three-point shot has changed the game. But what about the other side of the coin, the teams that aren't getting it done? Our trends data for February and March tells a story of significant struggles. The Atlanta Hawks went 55% in February, 16 points below their season baseline. Brooklyn Nets, a measly 17% in February, 11 points below their baseline. And even the Boston Celtics, 63% in March, but still 12.5 points below their season average.
Those are brutal numbers, Mike. The Nets being 17% in a month is just unacceptable for any professional team. That's a full-blown crisis. You have to wonder about the locker room, the coaching, the whole organization there. And Atlanta dipping that much, it just shows how quickly a season can unravel, especially when you hit that post-All-Star lull. For the Celtics, even at 63%, being down 12.5 points from their season baseline shows they're not playing at their usual dominant level. That's a worrying trend for them heading into the playoffs.
Absolutely. If you're dropping that far below your average, it means you're inconsistent, you're not gelling, or injuries are catching up. It's a wake-up call for those teams.
All right, let's switch gears and hit the diamond, Mike. MLB action saw some absolute bombs, but none bigger than the Los Angeles Dodgers routing the Chicago Cubs 14-8. 22 combined runs. That's a football score.
It felt like a batting practice session, Tara. The Dodgers' offense just looks absolutely lethal. They're number 3 in our power index at 65.8 points, right behind the Astros at 66.1 and the Braves leading the pack at 77.6. Those 3 teams feel like the cream of the crop early in the season, and the Dodgers just proved why. When their bats are hot, forget about it.
Agreed. And the Braves, even though they didn't play last night, they just sit there comfortably at number 1. That pitching, that offense, they just feel complete. But how about the Oakland Athletics, Mike? They went 63% in March, which is a whopping 7.5 points above their season baseline. Are we seeing a surprise contender emerge from the Bay Area, or is this just a hot streak that will inevitably cool?
A's contender? Tara, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's a nice start, absolutely, and you love to see a team exceeding expectations. But let's be realistic. They've had years of struggles. A 7.5-point bump is significant, but it needs to be sustained. I'm going to say hot streak. I hope I'm wrong for the sake of their fans, but history tells us otherwise. Now, on the other end, the Arizona Diamondbacks at 36% in March, 11.7 points below their baseline, and the Boston Red Sox at 30% in March, 10 points below their baseline. Those are significant drops for teams that had playoff aspirations.
Especially the Red Sox, Mike. A 30% winning percentage in March is just abysmal for a team of their caliber. The fans in Boston are not going to be happy with that. That's a team that needs to figure things out quickly before the season gets completely away from them. Meanwhile, the Astros squeezed out a 1-0 win over the Marlins. That's a classic Astros win. Tight pitching, just enough offense.
Exactly. That's why they're perennially at the top. Moving over to the pitch now, let's talk MLS, because we saw some absolute wild score lines last night. New England Revolution absolutely demolished Cincinnati 6-1, and then Minnesota United got clobbered 6-0 by Vancouver. What in the world happened in these games, Tara?
Clash of Titans is not what I'd call it, Mike. More like clash of one-sided affairs. New England and Vancouver just decided they were going to score at will. Cincinnati getting cooked 6-1, that's a tough pill to swallow for their fans. It suggests a complete breakdown defensively, and possibly a lack of leadership on the field. The Reds are sitting pretty at 5th in our power index at 65.4 points, so this just solidifies their standing.
And Vancouver, not in our top 5, coming out and delivering a 6-0 thrashing? That's a statement. Perhaps they're a team that's being overlooked right now. Our Power Index top 5 is NYCFC at 84.6, LAFC at 82.1, Real Salt Lake at 80.3, Atlanta United at 65.7, and then New England. 2 West Coast teams and NYCFC dominating the top 3. It looks like the league is pretty top-heavy right now.
Definitely. That spread between the top 3 and Atlanta United is massive. We're talking 15 to 20 points. That's a huge gap in the Power Index. Makes you wonder if anyone outside those top 3 can truly challenge for the Supporters' Shield this year.
Well, let's cross the pond and see if things are any different in La Liga. Barcelona, our number 1 team in the Power Index at 85.8 points, put on a clinic against Sevilla, winning 5-2. Another scoring fiesta, 7 combined goals.
Barcelona just reminded everyone why they're at the top. When they're clicking, it's just beautiful football to watch. 5 goals is an absolute statement, especially on the road against Sevilla. Atletico Madrid is right behind them at 78.2 points, with Real Madrid at 69.4 points, so that top 3 in Spain feels locked in. And Real Sociedad picked up a solid 3-1 win over Osasuna.
But it's that Barcelona game that screams title contender, just pure offensive dominance. Now, over in the EPL, things were a little more understated. Leeds and Crystal Palace drew 0-0, Fulham and Nottingham Forest drew 0-0, Tottenham and Liverpool drew 1-1. The only game with a clear winner was Manchester United beating Aston Villa 3-1.
Understated is one way to put it, Mike. Defensive slog is another. We had 2 goalless draws. Sometimes silence speaks volumes in football, but these results suggest tight tactical battles, maybe a bit of fatigue, or perhaps just a lack of cutting edge for some teams. Manchester United, however, getting a 3-1 road win against Villa is huge for their championship aspirations.
It definitely is. Arsenal and Wolves are tied at the top of our EPO Power Index at 88.6 points. Wolves being up there with Arsenal is a massive statement. They've truly established themselves as a force in the league. It's not just the Big Six anymore.
Absolutely not. Wolves have been incredibly consistent. And Newcastle, Brighton, and Everton round out the top 5. It's a much more diverse top end of the table than we've seen in years past.
All right, let's hit the ice. NHL action was fast and furious. The Ottawa Senators and San Jose Sharks combined for 11 goals in a wild 7-4 shootout. 7 goals for Ottawa. That's a party.
It sure is, and Ottawa needs it. They're still in our Power Index top 5 at 70 points, but they actually dropped 0.2 points. So while the offense was great, there must have been some defensive lapses or inconsistencies that prevented a bigger jump. Our top 5 are the Buffalo Sabres at 78.9, New York Islanders at 74.1, Carolina Hurricanes at 73.1, Ottawa at 70, and the Winnipeg Jets at 69.3.
Yeah, you give up 4 goals, even if you score 7, it shows a little vulnerability. The Sabres are looking incredibly strong at the top. But let's talk about the trends because these are fascinating. The Boston Bruins went 91% in January, a ridiculous 22.7 points above their season baseline. They were red hot.
Unstoppable, Mike. That's an incredible run. You have to wonder what sparked that kind of dominance. Maybe a new system clicked, a player got hot, or they just gelled perfectly. But then you look at the Calgary Flames, who went 50% in January, a respectable 10 points above their baseline, but then absolutely collapsed in March, going 22%, which is a massive 18.7 points below their baseline. That's a team that's fallen off a cliff.
That's a season in a nutshell right there, Tara. From feeling good in January to hitting rock bottom in March. That kind of swing is devastating for a team's morale and playoff chances. You have to wonder what changed. Injuries, coaching issues, or just a complete loss of confidence. Toronto beating Minnesota 4-2 and Anaheim beating Montreal 4-3. Those were solid wins for playoff hopefuls. And Seattle putting 6 on Florida is a statement.
It absolutely is. And finally, let's get some college hoops. NCAA